Hi everybody, I am Paolo Fabrizio and welcome to the third episode of Social Antipasti. Today I will speak to you about the importance of being a pioneer. The word pioneer always reminds me, the cowboys, the cowboy movies that we used to watch when we were kids. You remember that? But talking about jobs, about careers, I've had, my very first work experience in a pioneer environment. When I was in my 20s, I worked for an insurance startup, a direct insurance startup in Italy, and our managers always told us, be a pioneer. Don't be afraid of starting new things. Well, so that kind of, imprinting remained in my business, in my way of thinking about business. Nowadays, talking about social media, we have powerful tools that we can use to get in touch with people, generate leads, and, close business and get results. But at the same time, sometimes we're afraid. That's normal when you leave your comfortable area. It's like going to a foreign country where you've never been before and in a country where you are not even able to speak a word of the language. So it might be scary at the same time, but it's very exciting, of course. So my advice is don't be afraid of being a pioneer and don't be afraid of failure. When you start your new projects, you have your ideas, go with them, but because failures are part of your experience. Failure is like your school, it's where you learn by doing mistakes. If you do not start anything new, you won't get any risk, but at the same time, you will not learn. So that's why I say don't be afraid of failure, don't be afraid of doing mistakes. To give you an example, yesterday evening, a very good friend of mine and also a very good Italian social media professional texted me and he wrote me, Paolo, I want to write a book about social media and corporate blogs. But at the same time, I'm not sure about that because that kind of topic may not be so interesting for people, that would not be so easy to understand. Well, I replied to him and I told him, go with it, do it. Because first of all, you're a very good professional. You're also very good at speaking and writing. So don't be afraid of the results because regardless of them, you may get good results, you may have success or not, you may become an innovator. Maybe in a couple of years, people could say, oh, that's the guy that wrote about this topic for the first time. He was the real innovator. He was the real pioneer. He's the most important expert because he started before other people. And he started writing about these topics. He kept on writing about these topics. He's recognized as an expert. So no matter if you feel young or old, if you have a good idea, if you have a project, start with it. Don't be afraid of failure and don't be afraid of people who will say, oh, that's not a good idea, you won't be successful, it's too risky for us, or the same old wrong phrase that you may listening to in a company. That phrase is, we've always done that way. That's the kind of example that confirms that staying in a comfortable zone, in a comfortable area, may be much more risky than changing, than going towards new ideas and being a starter. So changing itself does not necessarily mean that you get better results, but if you have good ideas, if you're convinced that you have a good idea, transfer them into a plan. So 5 minutes are over. I thank you very much for listening to the third episode of Social Antipasti, and I'm looking forward to meeting you on the next one. Ciao!